Hi, this is my presentation on nationalism. I want to start off by saying that there are many different types of nationalism, such as cultural, ethnic, civic, and economic nationalism. Nationalism is not a one-sided argument. It can be a revolutionary force that brings people together, but then it can also be a force that drives people apart. It is a movement defined by its people, but it also is influenced by external factors and such as the media, politics, cultural identifications. Now, let's start off with a formal definition of nationalism. Nationalism is the ideology based on the premise of that the individual's loyalty and devotion to the nation state surpass other individual or groups' interests. Nationalism does overlap with patriotism, as many people have very strong beliefs for their country, and there are many degrees to nationalism. Depending on how far people can take it, it can have very positive or negative consequences. Now, I want to start off with a story. I went to summer camp a long time ago, and there were two groups, the Rabbits and the Beatles, and basically the Rabbits, we did everything together and we never associated with the other group. Now, what happened is that we would have daily competitions every week. And one time we had this competition. I'm sure all of you guys have played this, where you throw hula hoops out and you have to try to get all of your team members to the other side by stepping in the hula hoops and picking them up. Now, what had happened is that some of my team members decided to kick the other team members' hula hoops to the other side, and they also decided to push over another opponent. Now, we won the game, but we look back on this and see that because we wanted to win and because we really liked our group and really never associated with the other group, that we harmed them. I want to give some statistics. So the United States has about 61% of citizens who are proud of their country nationally, but it has a 20 to 30% trust in other countries, and this is for America. The support for countries to deal with their problems has been on the rise, at being 45% in 2010 to 55% in 2016. Now, comparing nationalism, we can see that it has been abused, and we can see this throughout history, from the American Revolution, colonization, to neo-Nazis, to Ku Klux Klan. There's many examples. The question is, should we promote nationalism? And my personal stance is that there has to be conditions and limitations to nationalism. I believe it is alright to, if you want to be patriotic for your country, but taken too far, I think it's morally unacceptable. Some people do not agree with my opinion. Some people believe that we should be nationalistic no matter what, and they have multiple arguments. So I'm going to name off some of their arguments. One of the arguments is that nationalism can unite people against a common enemy and create a sense of tradition in society. Now, Real Clear Politics says that nationalism can bring disparate people together to build a decent society, secure a competent government, and rally to defend themselves against attack. Now, this is true to some extent. We have to see how far people are willing to take this. We can't see in extremist groups, for example, the Ku Klux Klan and neo-Nazis, and many wars, that people looked out for themselves and would step over other people to get what they want. According to Foreign Affairs, nationalism is wrapped in nativistic and xenophobic rallying cries of populists and authoritarian demagogues. If I want to give an example, neo-Nazis loved Germany and Hitler so much that they didn't see that the persecution of the Jews was an immoral act. The second argument is that many people believe that nationalism does increase the wealth of a country. Foreign policy claims that countries with a higher average level of nationalism were consistently wealthier, and the corruption is consistently lower in countries with higher levels of nationalism. Now, this is not true, and this is a flat-out lie. If you look at slides 4 through 6, you can see that United States, China, and Germany have very high levels of nationalism. But then you can also see that comparing them to the amount of profit and the amount of money that they do have, China and Germany are low on the scale, while the United States is very high on the scale. This shows that there really is no correlation between nationalism and profit, meaning that if there's no correlation, there's no causation, meaning it doesn't exist. My third and final argument is that people are going to say that they have pride in their country no matter what. America is the land of the free. There's no reason why I should listen, and I can follow whatever I want. Britannica claims that people have always had a connection to their native soil, to the traditions of their parents, and to establish territorial authorities, leading nationalism to be a generalized, recognized sentiment molding public and private life. Furthermore, real politics does claim that citizens have a duty to have, love, and serve their country, and governments are duty bound to protect their people. Now, I agree to this. You can follow whatever you want, you can believe in whatever you want, but what I do not agree to is that you are not aware of what is happening in your country, and you have no knowledge of what it is, and you're blindly following it. You must be aware. Foreign Affairs emphasizes that an aligned nationalism provides the societal glue that makes social democracy possible. Nationalism really isn't about the government, it's about the people's view. Depending on how a country sees their country will depend on how it's run. Furthermore, since tensions are rising, you have to be aware in some respect of both sides. Growing polarization in American politics, meanwhile, leads to more disputes between the federal government and the states as the party out of power, Washington, seeks to use what leverage it has through other governments. Sometimes, for example, if we want to give authoritarian governments or so have control over their people, but many people are so nationalistic to the point that they don't see that what something that might be occurring in society is wrong. They don't see it as wrong because in a way they have become a sheep to the system. As the Daily Signal explains, placing powers in the hands of an international elite is hardly conducive to upholding the interests and the rights of the people no matter what nation they live in. We have seen this in Germany where Nazis took over and people followed them blindly and loved Germany and loved Hitler, but we all know that it was a morally unacceptable act of the persecution of the Jews. Now, I want to give the church's viewpoint on it. Pope Benedict does say that another important consideration is the common good. To love someone is to desire the person's good and to take effective steps to secure it. The church does teach that we are like one body and we're one soul and we're one family and that we are united. So we do have more similarities than we do have differences, and we have to keep that in mind for the rights of everyone and for everybody in society, that we should try to lift each other up instead of tear each other down. Corinthians says that you be in agreement and that there be no divisions among you, but you are united in the same mind and the same purpose. We are one group, we're all one society, and we're basically one humanity, and we're one human family. So for us, we should be more aware of more similarities, basically. What to do about this event? My future thoughts is a nation should be able to run their country however they want, and they should not have another country should not have power over another country and tell another country what to do. I believe it is okay if you want to be patriotic for your country, but there is a point, there is a limitation to where this does not have to happen and other people do not have to get hurt. Basically, if another group or another country wants to harm someone, just don't do it. And finally, it's important to be aware of everything that is happening in society and having your own mind and keeping your own beliefs and not letting your moral compass waver for no reason. If you're going to hurt something, don't do it. Basically, that's the final point. Thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.